brokered ceasefire. The Kurds not part of those discussions.
Secretary Mike Pompeo says the agreement that he and Vice President Mike Pence reached with Turkey is a big step toward an end to the conflict in Syria,
which we think will really save lives. It's worked so far. There's much work to be done to continue to implement it, but we're optimistic.
But New Jersey Democratic Senator Bob Menendez says the trust of Kurds who fought with us is lost and that Russia wins big.
Russia not only is going to have a major say about the future of Syria, everybody in the region is recalibrating and rethinking about what their alliances should be.
Both men on ABC's This Week. The president tweets the ceasefire is holding with only minor skirmishes.
Fox's Gernal Scott. We're talking weeks, not days, when Defense Secretary Mark Esper says all of the 1,000 U.S. troops will be out of Syria. They will head to western Iraq to help defend that country, countering any resurgence of ISIS. Esper made those comments heading to Afghanistan, where he'll be assessing what is next for our troops there. Says any military withdrawal from Afghanistan would have to be part of a peace agreement with the Taliban. Those peace talks stalled since early last month when President Trump called off a meeting at Camp David. Acting White House Chief of Staff Mick Mulvaney at Camp David this weekend, meeting with Republican lawmakers and again insisting there was no quid pro quo, linking an investigation into the Democrats' server to Ukrainian military aid. The president says Democrats and the media misconstrued those comments. America's listening to Fox News.
Live the balanced lifestyle. Take Care Insurance offers proven wellness and fitness programs to encourage individuals and families to live a healthy, balanced lifestyle through preventative care, being active, eating right, relaxing and unwinding, and being socially connected. They have the island's largest offering of free fitness classes and health education programs for all ages. Join the movement. Follow them on Facebook and Instagram or visit takecareasia.com to learn more.
What's for breakfast at KFC under $3.95, you ask? What's for breakfast at KFC that's different than the other guys, you ask? KFC's chicken wrap, sausage wrap, the Colonel's chicken congee, chicken fried steak, sausage biscuit and gravy, and biscuit sandwiches made with KFC's original fluffy biscuits. All for under $3.95 and all only at KFC. Plus, with waffles and the Colonel's chicken fried rice, we've got something for everyone.
So visit KFC for breakfast today. It's finger-licking good.
That explosion, a controlled blast near the French Quarter in New Orleans, brought down two very unstable cranes at the site of a hotel under construction. It partially collapsed last Saturday, killing 3 construction workers. This could wind up being the largest game of laser tag in history, a military exercise taking place next month in California.
The 2nd Marine Division will conduct the exercise at the Marine Corps Air Ground Combat Center in 29 Palms, California, the first week of November. 10,000 U.S. Marines, sailors, and British Royal Marines will participate. In a statement, the Marine Corps says they'll simulate combat using laser-based equipment that registers when hit. That Marine then acts like he's been hit, and members of the unit have to treat and transport him. The division's commanding general said the goal is to see how they conduct combat operations against an adversary with capabilities as advanced as their own. They'll also be using drones and technology to simulate the cyber aspects of war as well during this exercise. Jessica Rosenthal, Fox News.
He was looking forward to a laid-back lunch in California. That is not what Republican Senator Rand Paul got.
The Kentucky lawmaker is on a nationwide tour promoting his new book, The Case Against Socialism. While taking a break for lunch in California, he was confronted.
You just ran into 2 people from New York, kiddo, and we're not putting up with your Republican...
Paul's deputy chief of staff capturing video of the moment and posting it on Twitter, writing, "While having lunch with Rand Paul in California, we got verbally assaulted by these aggressive libs complaining about incivility." Paul retweeted the video, urging voters to watch it and decide who the rude ones are. Marcus White, Fox News.
The woman did say she was from New York. I'm Jane Metzler in New York, and this is Fox News.
Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro brings you island hospitality with a true taste of modern Chamorro cuisine. A bistro look that feels like home. Their menu features local and traditional flavors with a twist. From their famous Calaguan Hapa to fresh ahi poke salad and their award-winning barbecue ribs. Mescla takes your favorite local dishes and serves them with extra flair that you'll only find at Mescla Chamorro Fusion Bistro. Stop by their newest location in the Grand Plaza Hotel in Tumon. For reservations, call 969-2652. Mescla, a true taste of Guam.
Half a day. Security Title is honored to join in sponsoring Ray Gibson on The Point. I'm Jade Uggan of Umatic, and this is where I start my day. Listening to the voices of our community and sharing thoughts about issues that affect all of us. It all boils down to our people and our land. Protehi itanonmu. Protect your land. When purchasing or refinancing your home, remember to call the professionals at Security Title, just like you call Ray Gibson in the morning.
It's a one-of-a-kind wine fundraiser. Wahan Sustainable Culture presents Wine in the Garden. The Hamamoto Gardens help support food sovereignty, security, and sustainability while sipping wines from around the world, surrounded by 50-some acres of beautiful farm and garden. Tickets are $75 each. Proceeds support education and outreach on how important, easy, and fun sustainable practices can be. Wine in the Garden is on Saturday evening, October 26th, starting at 5. For more details, go to our website, gusustainable.org, or call 687-6491.
Day and good morning, Guam. It's 6:06, and here are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. You might have been a little on edge that we were in for some bad weather this week, but it appears that we may be spared yet again, that there does remain some watches and warnings in effect for the Northern Mariana Islands as Typhoon Bulaloy makes its way through this area. A typhoon warning still in effect for Tinian and Saipan with damaging winds of about 39 miles per hour expected this evening. A typhoon watch in effect for Rota, and a tropical storm watch in effect for Guam. That's based on if the storm deviates, it could bring tropical storm strength winds our way. That system does continue to move northwest, though, and packs winds of about 80 miles per hour. Guam remains in condition of readiness for. The Guam Police Department has seen a vast reduction in overtime expenses, and while the Chief of Police says it's an effort to remain fiscally responsible, they maintain the level of safety in the community. As reported in the Guam Daily Post, Chief of Police Steve Ignacio says they're trying to control overtime, and it's always a challenge, but there are things that just can't be controlled, and the bulk of GPD's overtime is due to a shortage of police officers. Ignacio says that they try to maximize the number of officers out on patrol, but they do realize there are other needs that need to be filled. According to the Post, the cutbacks in overtime have stirred up some rank-and-file officers who say the reductions have compromised the safety of the community and in some cases breaks the law. Officers who've asked not to be identified have also shared with the Post their frustration over pay, alleging that the department hasn't paid them overtime hours that they've worked. The officers say that they've been told to claim running time instead. According to the Chief of Police, running time can include after hours worked after 8 hours, and it's made part of the 43-hour work week. The Department of Labor concurs that it is in accordance with the law. Labor Director Dave De La Sola says if government employees feel that they have not been paid legally, they may seek guidance through the Department of Administration or with the Labor Department's Wage and Hour Division office. Now, Chief Ignacio says his officers get paid for what they put into the job. He says the cadets in the current police cycle will begin on-the-job training this December, and they hope that that will reduce the need for overtime hours. Elsewhere in the news, a resolution that calls for equal treatment for 4 million Americans in Guam and other insular areas has been introduced in the House. House Resolution 641 acknowledges the history of colonialism in Guam and other insular areas and calls for the House of Representatives to reject insular cases that have allowed Congress to perpetuate what the resolution's author calls the unequal treatment of insular areas. The insular cases are a series of opinions by the U.S. Supreme Court in 1901 about the status of U.S. territories acquired in the Spanish-American War. The resolution makes note of the wars and treaties of previous centuries that led to the current political status of Guam, Puerto Rico, American Samoa, U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Commonwealth of the Northern Mariana Islands. The resolution calls for the House to recognize the importance of supporting equal rights and upholding the interests of Americans living in U.S. territories. We'll have more news right after this.
Want to grow your business? Start a new venture? Or stay ahead of the competition? You can. With Docomo Pacific Smart Business Solutions tailored to your specific needs and ambitions, you can do it all. Partner with a network with best-in-class network coverage, state-of-the-art communication platforms, and a team dedicated to providing you with premium support. Call 688-2677 to start your journey to success today. Docomo Pacific Business, delivering your future today.
Want 10% off your next flight to the U.S.? Now through October 31, receive 10% off select United Airlines flights to the U.S. when you purchase your ticket with your United credit card or United Mileage Plus credit card from First Hawaiian Bank. Use promo code FHB019 when booking your flight. With a travel sale like this, you could wake up to a different sunrise in any part of the U.S. Visit FHB.com/United Fair Sale 19 to learn more. Terms and conditions and restrictions apply. First Hawaiian Bank, member FDIC.
Georgia Mayor Jesse Bloss is still getting paid even while sitting in a cell at the Department of Corrections. Mayor's Council of Guam Executive Director Angel Sablan said Bloss is at least halfway through his 20 days of administrative leave with pay. After the 20 days, he can choose to go on leave without pay or use his annual leave. According to the Post, the mayor's staff is handling daily operations while Sablan is temporarily taking care of the village finances in Bloss's absence. Bloss has pleaded not guilty to extortion and bribery charges. He's scheduled to be back in court this week to argue his motion, which he seeks to be released from jail. More Guam middle school students have been caught at school with marijuana, and already a number of students have faced suspension. Agata Johnson Middle School Principal Rebecca Perez brought the matter to a roundtable discussion with lawmakers last week. She says it takes a lot of work to police the students with marijuana at the schools, and she's asking how parents can be held accountable. She says we have parents that willingly give marijuana to their children, even though the kids are minors. But the committee chairman, Senator Tillerson Nelson, has placed the responsibility of enforcement back on the shoulders of Governor Lulian Guerrero. The senator says she's the one that pushed it, and we need to go to the governor's office and ask her how she's going to hold parents accountable. The Guam Department of Education has not confirmed whether Perez's concerns are shared by other principals. Otherwise, there are currently no school resource officers from the judiciary of Guam at the public schools. That's according to the Education Superintendent, John Fernandez. According to the Guam Daily Post, GDOE has hired the judiciary to provide school resource officers, and 6 judiciary SROs were still serving in public schools in September. But Fernandez confirms that he was not notified that as of October 1st, they were no longer reporting to the schools. The cause of this caused some confusion, as the judiciary had earlier asked to extend services past that date. A formal letter has been sent to the courts, and Fernandez says that he is now waiting for a response. And those are some of your top stories from the Guam Daily Post. Here now is Ray and Mike with your weather.
Now, it's too much weather. We got to bring in a third guy, Patrick from the National Weather Service. Good morning, Patrick. This is Ray Gibson from 93.3 The Point. How you doing today?
Good morning, everyone. I'm good.
I'm glad to hear that. Hey, listen, I just want to get the latest information on the movements and perhaps the pronunciation of Typhoon Bualoy. Is that how you guys are pronouncing it up at NWS?
Yeah, similar.
Similar. All right, very good. Could you give me some positioning information on the storm and what its current track and intensification is?
4 a.m. is about 260 miles east-southeast of Saipan, or 290 miles east of Guam. It's moving northwest at 9 miles per hour, and the maximum sustained winds is 80 miles per hour.
Alrighty, so already over typhoon strength at this time this morning.
Yeah, it's not a strong typhoon yet, but it's a typhoon.
290 miles to the east of Guam on a northwest track, 9 miles an hour or so?
Yes.
Okay. When is the estimated closest point of approach going to be to Guam?
It's going to be about...
We still got a lot of time here between now and the CPM. Not necessarily worried about us as much as I am about Saipan and Tinian.
Yeah, it's going to be happening about just after midnight tonight.
Okay, as it makes its way.
180 miles. to the north.
All right, got that. Patrick, I do appreciate your time here, and just a note for our audience, as far as you are concerned, we are continuing to be in condition of readiness 4. Is that correct?
Yes, for now.
All right, thanks very much, Patrick. Appreciate it. 888-8255, 888-TALK, quarter after 6 o'clock in the morning. We jump into weather with my guy here in the studio. Duke Skywalker, Sky Talker is back. How about that, buddy?
Yeah, man, what's happening?
I don't know. Never been there. It's just kind of one of those things. You gets to be Friday, Saturday night. You get a earthquake, and then they start squawking about a tropical storm being in the area, and you go, okay, what's that going to be all about?
Yeah, it's been an interesting past 2 or 3 days in terms of natural happenings. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I didn't feel the earthquake because I was asleep.
You know what? I didn't feel the earthquake either. So as far as I'm concerned, it didn't happen. I saw a bunch of people on Facebook that were under the impression that they might have felt something. Yeah. But seeing as how none of those people checked with me before they posted it, it didn't happen. Sorry about that, guys.
I do remember my cat waking me up at about that time that night, but I went back to sleep because
no damage. Got it. Tropical storm watch is in effect for Guam. If Bualoy deviates from the current forecast track, though, damaging winds of 39 miles an hour or more are possible this evening. Right now, as the man said, it's east of us, but it is now tracking northwest.
Right.
Has it made that full northwest turn yet?
It really has. It really has. And based on the satellite, and I'll show that to you here in just a moment, it looks like it's moving a little bit north of northwest, which will even take it further to the north of us. Right now, it's looking like this is going to be a big nothing burger for us. A very small, compact storm, very much unlike Hagibis a couple of weeks ago, which was a monster storm. And there are some atmospheric things that have happened with this storm that have prevented it from going into that rapid intensification phase. And it probably won't either until it gets past the Marianas. And even then, it's going to hit some cooler water on that northwesterly track. So this thing, it'll probably reach its peak strength just as it passes the Marianas sometime late tonight, early in the morning tomorrow. And I would say probably Cat 3 may be where it peaks at. That's just my own personal, non-professional estimation. But it's not a very big storm. It's not a very well-constructed storm. What happened is in the developing stages in the past 48 hours or so, it entrained some dry air that was in the environment. And so that's helped keep it in check just a little bit. It's northeast heavy, which means that there's a lot of convection up on the northeast side. But over here on the west side, southwest side, it's basically nothing. And that's what we're seeing out here right now. We've got beautiful skies to wake up to this morning.
Gorgeous yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, so it's really nice. Even had a great sunset yesterday. We were looking at some showers that were starting to approach yesterday, but they kind of fizzled out because as this storm strengthens ever so slightly, it contracts just a little bit because it's in that contraction stage. Until they hit about Category 3, then they'll start to expand. And that's what I think will happen as it passes north of Saipan later on tonight. For us...
But then, even then, the wind field's going to have to get really big before it comes to us. I mean, they're talking about this thing passing 140 miles away from here.
And again, I noted that it's northeast heavy. That's where most of the wind is. On the south and southeast side, southwest side of the storm, the winds are just not that strong. It is not a formidable storm, but it is a storm nonetheless.
Right, so
for us, not a big deal. But Saipan, Tinian, and folks north of that, anybody living on those islands, they're going to get smacked pretty good as it goes on through later on.
All right. We switched the graphics on the Facebook Live and the YouTube Live from the satellite imagery of the Western Pacific area to our own local region. Here is the radar. And I tell you what, if this holds, it's going to be a nice day. I got a feeling that whatever that trailing edge is over to the east of the island on the radar imagery is going to continue to go north, as you say, and I think it's going to bring us just a few clouds, maybe some isolated showers. Huh?
Yeah, just outer rain bands is what we're seeing here, and these are 150 miles off still, so they're not really, well, I wouldn't say, but about 100 miles off, though, and they are, if you can see on the radar image, they're kind of creeping this way, and it looks like at about 4 or 5 miles per hour. The storm itself moving at 9, so these are not coming this way. These are going to just kind of wrap around and get pulled on up. And I really see nothing for us from this storm.
All right. Bottom line, Guam is in Core 4 right now. At Core 4, this is what is supposed to be normal. The government of Guam continues normal operations, and the schools are open. Did you notice before you went to sleep last night that there was no announcement from John Fernandez or the Archdiocese or anything? And we're probably not going to get one today. It is Core 4, or as you pointed out to at least one person called up earlier this morning. Yeah, it's Core 20. We're way, way away from having to make any changes from what our usual disposition is. All right, the actual weather forecast today, and now that we've unpacked all of that, partly sunny skies, isolated showers, maybe some thunderstorms. There's north winds about 10 miles an hour, highs near 87 degrees. Overnight lows should be about 78 degrees. Sunset even earlier tonight, 5:58 is where the sunset is going to be going. And yeah, there have been some outstanding sunsets. It was kind of overcast and rainy on Friday night, and I wasn't thinking about getting out there. And I don't know, just a few minutes shy from that, I found the inspiration to go out to one of my favorite spots, Santa Fe, and grab a picture of what turned into an absolute gorgeous sunset.
Yeah,
so,
the sky lit up on fire that day.
Didn't it? Didn't I tell you what? Never turn your back on a Guam sunset. Never give up on a Guam sunset, because it'll always surprise you. 6:20 in the morning. That's news and weather together. Brought to you by Bank Pacific. Banking on the Pacific for 65 years.
Hulu is all your TV in one place, plus more. Watch thousands of hit shows, movies, and award-winning Hulu originals for only $5.99 per month. It's TV without the cable contract and the freedom of on-demand streaming. Get current network shows from ABC, CBS, NBC, and Fox, and binge watch every season of your favorite cable shows. Premium Hulu viewing is brought to you by Proline Automotive and AB Sports, Guam's store for Nike. To advertise on Hulu, call Choice Digital at 989-0042.
Gotcha. Portions of the Ray Gibson Show brought to you by the team over at Wendy's. And Wendy's, they're always thinking about your breakfast. They're always thinking about you and what's convenient, what's easy and good for you. Get the kids all together in the car and drive them over to the nearest Wendy's. You're going to enjoy the best breakfast value on Guam. It's got eggs and rice and breakfast meat. Some kind of a breakfast meat in that package for just $4. Favorites like applewood smoked bacon, there it is, Portuguese sausage, and country fried chicken and gravy. Wendy's breakfast platters, just $4. The real deal at breakfast is Wendy's. Now that's better. Also brought to you by American President Lines, APL Global Presence with a local home.
The Ray Gibson Show. Morning talk that matters. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
Pray for Poggin. What? Feral pigs and some deer up there. I think that's the only thing that's going to be a problem for the Northern Mariana Islands. I don't know what.
I think it's going to call for you to change your profile photo.
Is it?
Pray for Poggin.
We should do that. We should totally do that. 6:22 in the morning. You know, some kind of meme that we can attach to it. You know, with a little NMI flag up there in the background with the little praying hand emoji. Wouldn't that be great? Hey, welcome to the program. Excuse the mess. It is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point. My name is Ray Gibson. You get Duke Sky Talker back in the studio at exactly the right time to take us through. Hold our hands as we make our way through the coverage of now. It's bualoy.
Yes, bualoy. That is a Thai dessert.
Describe it, please.
Well, it's coconut milk with some little sugary balls in it and an egg.
Thank you very much. I just wanted to hear you say sugary. What? 6:22 in the morning. The other voice that is associated with this program is baby sister Mona Silva. How was the weekend?
It was very nice.
What'd you end up doing? Did you do the trunks for whatever at the Guard?
Yes, I did. We did the trunk or treat. It actually turned out really nice because the weather held up.
Mm-hmm.
There were lots of kids. We had a good time and lots of candy that came home with us, too. Yeah,
wait a second. Hold on.
The
Where is it?
grandbabies. Oh, sorry, forgot it. But the grandbabies brought their candy to our house, so we got to eat a bunch of that.
Just one in a long list of Halloween celebrations that are happening, and already people thinking about All Souls Day, All Saints Day on the other side of that. More on the weekend activities as the program continues. But Mona will take care of all of the news and information that we need to get to you at this time. It's late jumping into this, so let's get to the cheers thing.
Sometimes you want to go where everybody knows your name, and they're always glad you came. You want to be where you can see our troubles are all the same. You want to be where everybody knows your name.
I got that top 10 this morning. We start with Big Al Bautista. John Ray is coming in. Al, do me a favor. You were talking about an $85 fare from Korea to Guam last week, and somebody asked me the information. I'm like, ooh, dude, I forgot. So I gave him your personal number. No, I'm kidding. I didn't give him a person. I just said, look, Al Bautista's on Facebook, but reach out to him. But John Ray's on the line. I got Ismael at number 3. Tony and Annette and Pinko Anna. Pam Duvall's there. J.B. Cynical. Listen, Nate Horn saying, is it Friday yet? Oh, this is, if you're already asking, is it Friday yet? This is going to be a long week for you, my friend. I've got Heather Perez, Rico Blancaflor is there. Dennis Bensour is online. James Howard. And James, I was talking with somebody over the weekend because, as I said, there was a little tiny bit of an earthquake over the weekend. I guess it was, what was that, Saturday night, Friday night at Saturday at 10, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, Saturday, 20 after, and I was awake, but I didn't feel it.
Oh, yeah, I wasn't even coherent in any sort of way. So,
Nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't even feel it, and I sit back down in front of the television, and I'm going over my Facebook for absolutely no good reason, and I'm looking at all these people posting, ooh, earthquake, did you feel it? Did you feel it? Crap, I hate missing stuff like that.
It's funny because the first earthquake I felt here was a 5.2 in about that same area. Now, this thing rocked us, and I was sitting in my front room, and it rocked us, and then we had the sway. And it was quite dramatic for me because it was my actual very first ever earthquake.
Yeah, but if you go back in time and see where that took place versus the one that we had over the weekend,
about the same location.
Is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it really was. But just like these tropical systems, keep in mind that anything that happens with the Earth, it's going to have its own personality. So this one just had a different type of different type of wave to it that affected some and didn't affect others as much.
Nothing fell down, and near as I can tell, there's still babies being born over GMH, so I guess that's good. I got Denise Crisostomo is online. Nice to see you there, DDB. John Uggan Martinez is on. And I love this. Jean Martinez actually put an animated GIF of somebody making some kind of, looks like expensive coffee there in the thing on Facebook Live. How about Terry Puplu Mallory is there. Wen is on. Good morning. And it seems to be an adventurous weekend that included my nephew out there in the world somewhere. That's nice. Any updates on the storm from Jean? Yeah, as the man said, it is nothing burger for Guam unless this thing now at this point decides that it wants to curve to the southwest, and they generally don't do that.
No, and quite frankly, the model forecasts are pretty much in agreement that this thing is going to continue moving to the northwest and basically stay a fish storm. It's not going to hit any real land masses or anything like that. So, yeah, just a nice little swirl of clouds.
I got Keenan McCausland online this morning, who was a little bit upset in a note that she'd sent me last week because her team is not in the baseball at the World Series that's going to be coming up.
That's
Houston,
right.
Houston is...
Man, what a game yesterday. Now, I could not watch the game on TV or anything because I'm poor and I don't have television and I don't feel like going to the bar and spending $100 to watch a ball game. But I was watching it on the
You're
app.
Sky Talker. You're Michael Knight. People should be getting in line to buy you drinks.
Yeah, you would think so. Yeah. Anyway, so, but I was checking it out, and what a dramatic thing. The Yankees came back and tied it up in the top of the ninth. And, of course, then I'm sitting here thinking, oh, man, geez, we got to go game 7, and that's provided, that we don't win this game. But just phenomenal that they walked Springer and Altuve, who is 5 foot 5 inches tall. He is a little bitty guy, but he is our giant, and he racked one out for a home run, and it's what they call the walk-off, and we won. So we're off to our second World Series in 3 seasons, and this will be our second World Series ever. That's why it's a really big deal to me, because me and the Astros were kind of born at about the same time. So, it's been a team I've always followed, and, of course, we've had years and years of just horrible teams, and so, it's nice to be on the other side of that.
And on the other side of that is going to be the Nationals, and I don't know too much about them. So when Renee gets in for sports a little bit later on, she can tell us all about the World Series and where it is supposed to be going now, and all of the different World Series talk. For those of you that don't generally pay a lot of attention to baseball, there is actually some baseball going on, and it looks like it's going to be exciting. Astros and the Nationals in the World Series, and so Keena's upset because her team, the Yankees, are now out of the World Series.
Yeah, well, anytime the Yankees and Dodgers are not in the World Series, the Angel gains their wings.
There's football today. More on that in a couple of minutes. I see Dave Chargaloff online. Tom Tahadzi's there. Mingo Ree, Lynn Vince, Borja Polino. Nice to see you guys there. Gabrielle Williams is hanging out again this morning. Joy Unpinko and Vicky Ganasius Borja. I was getting around to talking about James Howard a second ago, and because we had the earthquake, and somebody had asked me about, is it possible to predict earthquakes? And I don't know that we're at that point now where you can say, there's going to be an earthquake that takes place at such and such a day and such time and at this intensity, but they're getting pretty good about it. And I'd actually mentioned James Howard's name because he's got that disaster app.
That's right. No, they're getting a little better at it. The science is getting better. Of course, it's real easy to put dots on every fault line across the ring of fire and say, oh, there's a possible earthquake going to happen, because that's
going to be
pretty much every
there,
day. Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. But they are getting a little better at it, and really the science is starting to come together in Southern California, where they've been having a lot of earthquakes, and now they've really been studying these things, and of course that's where most of the study has been taking place. And yeah, it's getting a little better.
Gotcha. It's 6:29 in the morning. Who else got to hang out? Jody's on. Jules Elmer is on. Gary Sean, I'll say, go Bills. Bills playing today? Is that what's up? I was just about to look into because otherwise, if I do, I'll be totally distracted all day. So I'm not sure if I want to actually call up the football pick'ems for today, because it's kind of scary here. Karen Otiwi is there. Anita Mumftis with a beautiful Valentine's eyes. Joe Bloss, Melina Montanonia is online. Nice to see you there, neighbor. Last statement from the court PIO was no interruption of SRO because GDOE was picking up the tab. And then what happened there? See if I can get more on that as the program continues. Ron and Cindy De La Rosa are online, and Sabine Chargaloff is hanging out. So is Joe Cepeda and Roland Torres and Linda Gabriel and Bob Lizama. I need to type a quick message in here. Jasper Sill says, yo, I'm here. Good morning, Lillian Cruz. And Xavier Atalig is online. Andy Camacho says, are we ever going to have a Typhoon Balate? Good point there, Andy. I think maybe there ought to be one of those. Typhoon Balati, because it's kind of our sugary balls dessert here, isn't it, in this part of the
it could quite possibly
Marianas?
be the exact same thing.
I got Debbie Y saying, Hafa Ray and Mona and Mike from Fleming, Georgia. Nice to hear you again, Joni and Ken Borja, Vince Duenas, and wow, a lot of big names here. Bernadette Santos is online. So is Charlie Hermosa. The other Governor Leon Guerrero, Ken Leon Guerrero, is online.
Yeah, folks in Georgia dealing with some tropical weather this morning. Tropical storm Nestor has moved in to in the Florida Panhandle, getting a lot of rain to those folks.
Yeah, but Camacho is online. Let me see here. Cousin Tommy Barcenas is there, and there'll be other names that get added to the list. And do me a favor, as I always ask you around this time, somewhere on the screen that you're watching on is the share button. Please share the love and the fun that is the Ray Gibson Show on 93.3 The Point with somebody that you are hanging out with today online. 6:32 in the morning. We got to jump into headlines, so let's do some of that right now. Mona Silva Tyrant with news from the Guam Daily Post.
The National Weather Service says they continue to monitor Typhoon Bualoy. As of 4 a.m., Bualoy was located 260 miles southeast of Saipan, 290 miles east of Guam. Typhoon Bualoy is moving northwest at 9 miles per hour with maximum sustained winds of about 80 miles per hour. The system is expected to pass through the Marianas about 30 to 40 miles north of Saipan early Tuesday morning. Guam remains in condition of readiness for a tropical storm. Watch does remain in effect for us. If Bualoy deviates from its current forecast track, we could expect damaging winds of about 39 miles per hour or more, possibly late this evening, but again, that's if it deviates. The Guam Police Department has been able to cut back on overtime, but there are officers who are concerned the effort has compromised public safety, and they allege that they aren't getting paid for their overtime hours worked. The Chief of Police says officers do get paid their hours worked. The Department of Labor says those who have grievances can file a complaint with the Department of Administration or Department of Labor. And Jotnya Mayor Jesse Bloss will be back in court this week on a motion to get released from jail. He's facing charges of extortion and bribery and remains in jail, but is still getting paid. The mayor's council says he is only halfway through his 20 days of paid admin leave and may still opt to take his annual leave. And those are some of your headlines from the Guam Daily Post. For more on these stories, pick up a copy of the Guam Daily Post or log on to their website at postguam.com.
Thanks, Mona. 6:33. That's the time, and that is iConnect time. They've got a great promo. It's the tax refund promo because there's something ridiculous like $45 million worth of tax refund dough floating around. If you haven't gotten it in your post office box, it's probably because there's either you aren't going to get one or there's a problem with your return. So call the Department of Revenue and Taxation and find out where your check is. After you're done, talk to the people over at iConnect. They got that tax tax refund promo. You pay for a year's worth of service, they give you a month free. Heck, they'll even give you a phone free. The terms and conditions apply. Find out what they are by calling 888-8888.
Hi, welcome to this Subway ad for the all-new Pit Smoked Brisket. How would you like it?
I'll take a man who knows what's what.
Y'all know what? The all-new Pit Smoked Brisket at Subway is smoked slower than a slug going up a down escalator, that's what. I'm talking tender, juicy brisket, naturally pit smoked for at least 13 hours. What's more, it's got layer after layer of smoky flavor. Smoked cheddar and barbecue sauce on delicious Italian bread. Subway, make it what y'all want, what not. Limited time only at participating restaurants.
Make it what you want and what not. Love the way they do that. It's 6:34, almost 6:35. And a quick look at the traffic gizmo, give you an idea of what's happening on your roadways. Is it going to be a nice day for driving? Well, I'll tell you what, so far, so good. Even though it's core 4, situation normal, get to school, get to work this morning, and hit the road. But it's a nice drive-in right now. It looks like all of the major congestion spots are running really, really smooth. 8, 10, and 16 is nice. And it's nice, especially after the weekend, when they do all of that construction work on the roadways. You ever pass by like early in the morning before they start? You don't give it a second thought, and then you come back a little bit later on, same roadway, and then you find yourself stuck clear past the post office and places like that. Well, we hopefully done with that before too much longer. Don't see too much else that's going to be slowing you down. Around 10 Alpha by the airport's looking good. Most of Marine Corps Drive in and out of the downtown Hagutnia area looking sweet here. Nothing major that's going to slow you down. Big Navy is starting to get a little bit busy this morning. And I do have a note, remind me to read this to you in a little bit about some traffic that is going to start, in fact, today, it might start slowing you down at the Polaris Point intersection, southbound to Naval Base Main Gate. I'll tell you about that in a couple of minutes. Right now, traffic here on The Point.
Here at APL, our core values give the company its heart and soul. Whether it's connecting your business with our global network through our newly enhanced service or investing our efforts into giving back to the community, APL is committed to serving you. We humbly honor the opportunity to find innovative solutions for you and your business. To learn more about our enhanced service, call 588-4651 or visit www.apl.com/Guam for more details.
Any speaker, anytime. The Ray Gibson Show. Call now, 888-TALK. That's 888-8255.
You woke up late this morning and you want to know what's going on with the typhoon. Well, it is a typhoon Bualoy, and it's a Thai dessert, and it's supposed to be really good. So everybody, a little bit later on, we'll go over to what's the name of the place? Not Mermaid Tavern, they're closed. Mariana's Trench. We'll go to Mariana's Trench and see if they can make that for us. This was my quest on Friday night. I'll talk about it because every once in a while, I get this hankering for lumpia, for fried lumpia, right? Oh. And so I get in the car, the fried lumpia quest, and I'm going out there hitting the road.